people will ask, what will these great waves look like? What can we expect? What are we really preparing for? Is it a difficult situation, or is it a terrible situation? The answer depends upon many things, upon human response and responsibility. Certainly, the resources of the world will be diminished, and there will be great difficulty in securing them, particularly in poorer countries and for poorer people. And the risk of conflict and war over these diminishing resources will be very great. The risk will be very great. How will people respond? Will humanity destroy itself as it struggles and fights over who will get the remaining resources, or will there be a greater union and cooperation? The answer is uncertain, but in either case you are moving into a time of great difficulty. The climate of the world will change and become warmer in most places, diminishing food production, diminishing water supplies, creating great difficulties in certain regions of the world. The risk of the breakdown of society is extremely great under these circumstances, and the fact that most people are either unaware of this or are taking it far too lightly gives great concern. Humanity has overspent its natural inheritance. It has overused the world, this place of magnificence and abundance. Humanity has not planned for the future. It has not restrained its behavior. It has wasted its great natural inheritance through greed and through conflict, through misuse and corruption, and now it will have to face the consequences. You will have to pay for the sins of the past, as your children will have to pay for the sins of the present. These sins are errors, fundamental errors, and in some cases tremendous errors. Therefore, you cannot escape this. You cannot move somewhere else and be immune from the great waves of change. You will have to live very differently, and only knowledge within you can guide you specifically in this matter. Beyond following the recommendations for living in a great waves world that are included in this book, it will be up to knowledge within you, the strength of your relationships with others and the courage and objectivity you can bring to your circumstances that will determine the path that you must follow. For everything will be changing, and there will be great uncertainty. Where you live, how you live and who you are with will all have tremendous bearing on what kind of circumstances you will have to face. And you will have to gain access to knowledge, the deeper mind within you, the mind that God has created within you to answer these questions. The answer will not necessarily be an explanation, but a series of steps, things you must do, step by step. For great change requires that you move incrementally step by step. The only exception to this is being in an extreme emergency, such as being in a house on fire or on a sinking ship. But beyond this, you must follow a series of actions which may not make any sense to you at all in the moment, a series of actions which others might consider to be foolish or irrational. You will have to follow these. Ask yourself, where should I live? Keep asking, and the steps will begin to appear if there is any change you must make in this regard. You cannot ask only once. You must ask repeatedly. You must be with the question. You must live with the question and be open, really open, to what might be presented to you, particularly if you already sense that where you are is not permanent, or you have concern over its viability as a place to live in the future. You must be very open, you see, because knowledge will not just take you to the place that is the safest or the easiest. It will guide you to the place where your greater strengths can emerge, where your destiny can be fulfilled and where you will be able to meet the really important people in your life and engage in the really important activities in your life. This is entirely beyond the scope of just being safe and secure. And this is one of the reasons that people do not understand the answer when the answer is given. They do not understand or trust their deeper inclinations because they are asking the question with a hidden motive to get what they want, to be enriched, to be protected, to keep what they have or to have more. But this is not the emphasis of knowledge. Knowledge will protect you here, but it will protect you and save you for a greater purpose. In a way, the great waves of change provide a very optimum environment for knowledge to emerge because there is really no place that you will be safe. There will be no place that will really be secure, where you can enjoy the kinds of benefits you might have enjoyed in the past, where you will feel safe and immune from the difficulties that will be emerging all around you. The survival of your personality is not the issue here. It is the fulfillment of your mission. For you have chosen to come into the world at a time when the great waves would be striking the world. You have come at a time when humanity would have to deal with competition from the greater community, from invasive forces from the universe around you. You have come at a time of great difficulty and uncertainty, a time of great discord and risk of war. Therefore, do not be in complaint. Do not deny or condemn the circumstances of the world when, in fact, they hold the greatest possibility for your redemption and for your fulfillment here. Your great relationships will not come to you while you are hiding out somewhere pretending to be happy, safe and secure, surrounded by all your unnecessary possessions, involved in simple and innocuous and foolish activities. The great relationships will not come to you under these circumstances, only casual friendships, only people who share your hobbies or others who want to exploit you or share in whatever wealth you might have. The great relationships will come in facing great change and difficulty because it is within this environment that the deeper and truer nature of people becomes evident. And people will have to choose a greater allegiance within themselves and a greater allegiance to others. This is where great relationships become recognized, cultivated and expressed. No more foolish and indulgent romances here. No more wasting your time trying to have endless pleasure with someone when, in fact, you have nowhere to go together and nothing really important to do together. No more wasting your life on chasing beauty, charm and wealth, having fantasies about yourself and other people, trying to look good, to be accepted and degrading yourself in every possible way to gain the attraction or the admiration of some person. There will be little time for such things now. While these times are extremely dangerous and hazardous, they provide the optimum environment for you to discover your greater strengths and with this, a set of greater relationships. This is where the greater purpose and meaning of your life can emerge if you can understand your situation correctly and if you learn to engage with your deeper nature and to rely upon it increasingly. Here you must respond when others are not responding. You must take precautions when others are not taking precautions. You must change your circumstances when there appears to be no immediate reason for doing it. You must follow an inner urging and an inner direction, without really understanding what is happening and what your future or the outcome will look like. If you do not have the strength or courage to do this, you will just stand where you are, becoming increasingly full of anxiety and confusion, increasingly worried, increasingly frustrated and compulsive until your circumstances just fall away and erode your life, like a person who is standing on a slowly shrinking island or in a boat that is taking on water increasingly. You are going to have to be prepared to take dramatic action, and you may have to act alone. Not everyone who is with you now, your friends or even your family, will necessarily respond to the great waves of change or to the power and influence of knowledge within them. Just being worried and concerned is not enough. Just being aware of the problem is not enough. You must be prepared to act, not hastily, not compulsively, not in a panic, but carrying out steps in your preparation. The new message has provided the steps to knowledge so that you can begin to build this deeper connection to knowledge, a connection that you will have to rely upon increasingly in the future as all other sources of certainty become challenged, upset and in conflict. For where will you turn? Who will you turn to in times of great change and uncertainty? Your government? Your friends? Your family? Your religion? And if you cannot find any certainty or clarity there, will you run away into your hobbies or your fantasies or your passions? This is a critical question, you see. God has given you knowledge to guide you, to protect you and to lead you to a greater fulfillment in the world as it is. Therefore, do not ask anything more from God. If you cannot receive this great endowment, a gift beyond your estimation, a gift that will serve you every day and in every circumstance, if you cannot receive this, if you will not trust this, if you will not follow this, then do not ask for the miracle. You may ask, but you are going to have to rely upon what God has given you. You have created a world where this will be increasingly necessary, a world where fantasy, speculation and presumption will be increasingly difficult to create and maintain. Times will become more difficult. People will become more impoverished. Everything will become more expensive and in some cases unavailable. How will you function in this environment? You will have to turn to simple pleasures, the pleasure of the moment, the beauty of nature, connecting with other people in a significant way, enjoying very simple things. Relationships will have to be simple and honest now. Though many people will use deception to gain advantage over others, relationships will have to become very simple, direct and honest. In a way, your life will have to become more authentic, more healthy and more in balance instead of this frantic pursuit to fulfill your fantasies and your needs, your expectations and the expectations of others, this frantic, desperate, unhappy life where you have no sense of yourself or where you are going or what you are really about. So even in the face of the great waves of change, even in the face of the dangers of intervention and competition from beyond the world, you have an opportunity to bring your life into order, to establish a genuine set of priorities, and to stop wasting your time, your energy and your life force on things that have no meaning, value or purpose. You have the opportunity to become strong, integrated, balanced, courageous, objective and compassionate, whereas before you were simply an addict of your culture, trying to have, be and do things that were not essential to your nature or to your greater purpose for being here. Here your relationship with yourself becomes critical, fundamental, practical and mysterious. Whatever difficulties you have had from the past and whatever defects or deficiencies you now have will be overshadowed by the need of the moment and the need to prepare for the future. This is the perfect antidote to self-obsession and mental illness, to poor mental health and poor emotional health. You will have to do things now you have never had to do, to learn things you have never had to learn, to become resourceful and become observant. Do not look at the future, thinking and worrying about what you might lose. Recognize that the future has the power to uplift you, to give you back to yourself, to restore to you your true purpose for coming here and your true capabilities. But you must gain access to knowledge, for only knowledge knows who you are, why you are here and how you will be able to navigate the difficult times ahead. If you can prepare in advance, you will be in a position to help others. If you wait, the change you will have to make will be desperate, expensive and hazardous. If you put it off or question it or doubt it or think it is not important, you will put yourself in ever-increasing jeopardy, and your chances of success will diminish as a result. This is not an idle matter. This is not mere speculation. The new message is telling you what is coming. It is warning you. It is preparing you. But it is still up to you to respond, to be responsible, to be able to respond and to learn how to follow, step by step, the things that you must do, with courage and determination. Time is important now. You do not have time to languish. You do not have time to be distracted, carried away with other things, or caught up in the circumstances of your life. There is no time for this now. You must take your life seriously. You must pay attention to the signs of the world that are telling you that great change is coming. You must learn to listen to the movement of knowledge and the urging of knowledge within yourself. Your study of steps to knowledge will teach you how to read the signs of the world and the signs of knowledge, for this is a very different kind of education, unlike anything the world itself can provide. This education is without fantasy. It is without prejudice. It is without an idealistic view of the future. It is without human compromise and human corruption. It is pure and powerful, and you must become powerful to engage with it, and it will give you this power. Indeed, there will be great human need in the future. Many people will not have enough food or shelter. There will be great civil unrest in the large cities, and in smaller communities as well. You must be strong enough not only to gain a secure position for yourself, but also to assist others, especially the elderly and the young. Lives will be lost through conflict and deprivation. This will depend upon whether nations and cultures choose to share the resources of the world or to try to gain them for themselves.